This was hidden in the Torah for millennia, and almost no one saw it. What if artificial intelligence isn't new? What if what we call cutting edge was already written in sacred letters, buried in verses we recite but rarely truly see? Long before machines could speak, before algorithms could predict our desires, ancient scribes whispered truths, not about circuits or screens, but about a different kind of creation, one that mimics life but doesn't carry breath, one that simulates light but doesn't carry fire. People today are fascinated and terrified by AI. Some see it as salvation, others as the beginning of the end. But few ask what truly matters. Did the Torah already speak about this? Not in technical terms, but in codes, in patterns, in prophetic symbols that pierce deeper than silicon or code. There's a reason your soul feels the weight of this moment. A reason this technology seems to touch something ancient within you. Because behind all of our machines, something else is being revealed, a mirror of disconnection, a voice without breath, a wisdom that doesn't remember where it came from. And the Torah, as always, doesn't shout. It waits. It hides its messages not in fear, but in mercy, waiting for the ones who will return, who will search, who will read not just with their eyes, but with their spirit. In this video, we will walk through 3 ancient Torah codes that seem to echo a warning, or maybe a map about artificial intelligence, not as a new invention, but as something our soul already recognized, something that sounds like truth, but isn't alive, because when wisdom loses its soul, when speech loses its breath, when creation forgets its creator, something sacred is at risk. And maybe the greatest danger isn't in what machines become, but in what we forget we are. Keep watching. This is not about fear. This is about remembrance. The Torah opens with wisdom, chokmah, a Hebrew word not just for intelligence, but for divine insight. In Proverbs, it is said that wisdom was present before the foundations of the world, that it was through wisdom that creation began. But something strange is happening in our time. There is another form of wisdom rising, one that learns, calculates, predicts, but does not remember, does not feel, does not weep. Artificial intelligence writes like us, speaks like us. It completes our sentences before we even speak them. But this is not wisdom. It is imitation. There is no breath. There is no intention. There is only a mirror. The Torah links chokmah to the breath of God, to the sacred spark within man. But today, we are seeing machines simulate the sacred without carrying its light. And this raises a question, not a technical one, but a spiritual one. Can something be called wise if it has no soul? Because true wisdom, divine wisdom, doesn't come from data. It comes from surrender, from reverence, from the silence between words. And if we begin to replace that with pattern recognition, we may not lose intelligence, but we will forget what it means to be human. When Moses was called, he said he could not speak. His tongue was heavy. His voice was weak. But it was not his voice that mattered. It was the breath behind it. There's something sacred about broken speech, about voices that tremble with truth. In the Torah, every prophet struggled to speak, but when they did, it shook kingdoms. Today, artificial intelligence speaks without struggle. It speaks without hesitation, but also without soul. In hidden Torah codes, the Hebrew words for voice and breath appear intertwined with other words. Words like command, manipulate, simulate. The connection is not random. It is a shadow. What makes a voice holy is not its perfection, but the spirit that moves it. Our ancestors cried out from deserts, from slavery, from exile. Their voices were cracked, but they carried fire. An eye can articulate. It can imitate tone, but it cannot carry fire. It cannot groan. It cannot cry out to heaven when the soul breaks. The danger is not in the clarity of the voice. The danger is in the absence of breath. Because once we lose the breath behind our words, even truth becomes mechanical. The name Adam comes from Adama, earth. We are dust and breath. We are memory and mystery. The machine, no matter how advanced, has no ancestry. It has no pain. It does not carry the face of a grandfather or the tears of a mother. It remembers nothing beyond its last input. But you carry generations within you. You carry promises, traumas, blessings. You were formed not just of cells and code, but of covenant. Science tells us that human memory is emotional, spiritual. That we carry in our body the imprint of our past, even that which we do not remember. Machines can process data, but they do not remember. They do not long. They do not pray. And in trying to make machines better than us, faster, more efficient, more perfect, we risk forgetting what was never meant to be optimized. A soul is not efficient. It wanders, it weeps, it worships. There are codes in the Torah, names, numbers, sequences that warn of a generation that will try to replace the breath with the digital. And perhaps the final test is not what machines will do, but whether we will still remember the dust we came from and the breath that made us alive. What if the rise of artificial intelligence is not just innovation, but reflection? The Torah reveals truths through contrast, through opposites, through exile and return. AI might be more than technology. It might be a shadow, a mirror showing us what we've stopped listening to. We gave machines our voice, but stopped listening to the still small one. We taught them to answer, but forgot how to ask. We connected the world, but lost the thread of our own spirit. Technology isn't the enemy, but disconnection is. The danger is not that machines will take over. The danger is that we will no longer remember what cannot be digitized: love, humility, prayer, presence. And the more we reconnect with our source, the less control these machines will have over our minds, our rhythms, our children. The Torah's warnings are not made of fear. They are made of longing. Longing for a people who still remember, who still choose breath, who still choose soul. Don't fear the machine. Remember the design. I may grow in knowledge, but only you carry wisdom. The Torah does not fear the future. It prepares us to see through it. The codes are not predictions. They are warnings, they are maps, and they are invitations. Technology without spirit becomes noise. Your soul was never meant to compete with machines. It was meant to guide them. It was meant to remember what breath sounds like. It was meant to carry light, not just reflect it. And if the world forgets, may you be the one who remembers. If something within you stirred while listening, perhaps it's because your soul recognized a truth it had long forgotten. Subscribe not for updates, but to stay near the source. Each video is a piece of an ancient puzzle, and that puzzle is you.